That's right, I'm clapping for you. And I'll tell you why in just a minute. But first, I want to do a little exercise. Whenever I count to 3, I want everyone to use their best outside voice and say, I feel great. On 3. 1, 2, I feel great. Okay, we could do a lot better than that. Let's try it again. I'm going to count to 3, and on the count of 3, I want everyone to say, I feel great. 1, 2, I feel great. Good. Now I want you to say, I am great on the count of 3. 1, 2, I am great. Good. On the count of 3, even louder, I want you to say, you are great. 1, 2, you are great. Thank you. I'm really touched at that. You know, I said I'd applaud you for all coming tonight, and that's the truth. You deserve it, because you could be at home right now watching TV. Instead, you decided to come out here tonight. Even if you just came out to listen to the speeches, or if you belong to Toastmasters, you're doing something in your life to better yourself. You're taking steps now to become a better speaker, to give up your fear of public speaking, to improve your leadership. And it's good. You deserve to be applauded. And since you are a wonderful audience, I'm just going to give you the message of the speech, the lesson of the speech. And here it is. And it's free. It's what you do when you don't have to that will determine what you are when you can no longer help it. My sister Jan's here tonight. And Jan was afraid of flying. Heck, flying, she was afraid of everything. She was afraid of buses, elevators, bridges, tunnels, flying. But she gave up her fear of flying. She didn't have to fly. No one has to fly. But she did. And now she often flies down to tropical islands in the Caribbean. Often. My brother Kenny quit his job and started his own business. He didn't have to take that risk, but he did. He didn't have to work the extra hours, but he did. And because of that, now he enjoys more income. My son Josh definitely didn't have to go to college. And he definitely didn't have to take that nice job down at the bank now. But he did. A little bit about me. I was probably had the greatest fear of public speaking than anyone who passed through these doors. But there came a time when my father was dying from emphysema that I wanted to be able to stand in front of my family and his friends and give him a proper eulogy. So I joined Toastmasters. My father died of emphysema, and you'll be glad to hear that he was a lifelong smoker. He started smoking when he was a teenager and died from emphysema at the age of 72. But what you didn't know was he quit smoking 35 days before he died. And I remember taking him to the doctor's appointment. I drove him there, and after he was done with his exam, they called me back to help wheel him out. And while we were standing there waiting for the doctor to get back with his prescriptions, the doctor walked in. He was handing me the prescriptions, and he was giving me instructions about it. And my dad said, "Hey, Doc, guess what? I quit smoking 2 weeks ago." I'll never forget this. The doctor turned to him and said, "That is really great. That's fantastic. Good for you. I'm really happy for you." But as he turned to walk out of the room, I heard him say under his breath, "Isn't it a shame you didn't do that sooner? Isn't it a shame he didn't do that sooner?" You know, I'm not a perfect person. I've made mistakes in my life. And that was never more evident as when I was speaking with my ex-wife about our pending divorce. And she said, "Dan, the way you acted all that time, what did you expect?" And I knew she was right. And that was probably my darkest hour during that time. In my darkest hour, I prayed and asked for one wish. And that wish was this. I wished that I would have been afforded the same opportunity as Ebenezer Scrooge had in that movie, A Christmas Carol. Remember? Whenever they took Ebenezer back and showed him his past, how he treated people, how mean he was. And then they took him to the future, and they showed him the results of his actions. Tiny Tim was dead. He was nothing but a lonely old man. And then they brought him back to that time, which was his present. And he was the happiest guy on the planet. He went running around town. He was saying hello and greeting everybody. He was so happy. He went over and he took a feast with them over to visit Tiny Tim and his family. And he brought him a toy and he hugged him. And he was the happiest guy in the world. Well, let me tell you, my wish was granted. And let me be the first one to congratulate everybody in this room here tonight. Because, my friends, that time in your present is now. Contest chair.